You know, remaking maps is great. Nuke looks awesome today. But have you seen their first remake attempt? Jesus Christ, look at that! What were they thinking? D-Nuke is a special map. It has been in Counter-Strike since the inception of the defuse mode and has changed a lot over the years. The layout maybe not as much as some other maps, but I think it is the only map that traveled from America to Europe and back to America. Whether you like the map or not, I'm sure we can agree that it is pretty. The style is instantly recognizable. Older versions had a more generic industrial style that slowly evolved into that sleek, very modern power plant we have today. Just recently, we gained access to an unfinished remake attempt from the early days of Source development. And oh boy, it really shows that they were in an experimental phase. You know, it was around that time when Gabe had blue hair, was listening to My Chemical Romance and couldn't decide in which direction they wanted Counter-Strike to go in. They passed the stuff from one developer to another, he broke up with Randy. It was a mess. But eventually Turtle Rock Studios got their hands on it and they delivered. Yeah, the experimental phase. The original version of Nuke is, like many other maps from the time, based upon the Half-Life texture set, resulting in Nuke looking like a Black Mesa facility. Going with the Half-Life style, this hall was even dug into the face of a mountain. Unlike today, the ceiling is just plain rock. At this point in time, Nuke wasn't even a nuclear power plant. It was the storage site for an actual nuclear bomb. Here, suspended on the ceiling of the lower bomb site, a missile with the eponymous nuclear warhead. In 2003, Turtle Rock Studios was tasked with recreating Counter-Strike for the new Source engine. And in their first attempt at recreating and updating Nuke for the release of Counter-Strike Source, they stayed very close to the original. Beginning on the CT side of the map, they started by replacing the very simplistic rock formations from the early days of Counter-Strike. It is interesting to note that the textures they used for this came from CS Downed, a Condition Zero map, which is a jungle map, so I guess this was just a placeholder. It is noteworthy that these rock formations are more detailed than the original ones, but are still regular brushwork, not displacements or models. They quickly ditched the idea of keeping the original terrain features and replaced most of it with terrain displacements and rock models. Over on the terrorist side of the map, we can see that they were well into that process just before cancelling the map. And going inside the building, we can see a mix of old and new. Look at these radio sets here. Most textures, with the exception of crates, have been replaced, giving the map an odd Gearbox-style Condition Zero look. This development version of Nuke was infested with an early Source engine disease, namely clutter. The bomb sites are full with props and unnecessary detail to a point where they seriously hamper gameplay. Railings and movable objects everywhere. Half a conference room is in the center of this bomb site. Later versions of Counter-Strike really scaled back the clutter, and especially movable objects like barrels, which, while fun, really can interrupt gameplay. In this early map you can really see that they were all excited by the new possibility of, well, placing details everywhere. It really looks like a mapper's first look at the Source engine. After they had abandoned the desert style of early Counter-Strike, they moved to a more regular, non-Half-Life industrial setting. And judging by all the ripped cables and cut-off bolts on the floor, they quickly ripped out all the unnecessary stuff from the previous version. Also, gone was the uneven sand floor. They reverted back to the original 1.6 brushwork and gave it a concrete paint job. Nuke was turned into a power plant, presumably located somewhere in the United States. And with the move from Counter-Strike Source to Global Offensive, the geometry changes were minimal, but the plant was now located in Germany. And with the 2017 full remake, the map was moved back yet again to the good old US of A. Which design do you like best? The original Half-Life style weapons storage facility in the desert? Or the German or US slightly run-down power plant? Or maybe the very fancy modern power plant we currently have in CSGO? Would you have liked them to keep the original style like in their first remake attempt? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear that. And I guess we'll soon play the slightly wacky version on a community frag night, so look out for that. You know, looking at this map, it is obviously very early in development and will need some time to fix. This is the version with the textures slightly fixed. We still got a lot of props floating in the air, like... well, where? Can't find them at the moment. Like here, obviously. They've just been placed there. It's early in development, but an interesting thing is that a lot of things that were later adopted for the first CSGO and source version are already there. The shape of these cooling rod tanks here is already there. Okay, this corridor was obviously gone at some point. It's still a remnant of the early Counter-Strike 1.6 version, at least slightly. The corridor is a bit different. These vents are, well, again different. These vents changed a lot. I think every few months it feels like Valve changes these vents here. So yeah, it will still be a little bit of time to fix it up. I mean, we still got these spawn points here that were placed for reference. Yeah, these doors need to be fixed. They're broken in this version. They're still the Counter-Strike 1.6 style glass doors. I like them actually. I like them more than the regular doors with handles. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how this map came to be and how it developed. This is obviously rough. I mean, yeah, we still got the old geometry here. Let's switch it to the new one. All terrain. Alright, well, this one here. I'll use this one and just texture it in the old Half-Life 1 style. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to playing this, even though this is really wacky and this bomb site design is just horrible. I'm really not sure what they were thinking. For a closer look at Nuke, all the tiny changes of the CSGO era, I would like to refer you to a video 3Clicks Philip made a few years ago, listing all these small changes. Check the upper right corner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe for future content, and if you love what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, as our supporters over there got to see this video well in advance. Those lovely supporters are Lone Wolf, Zed Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, AX98, Thito, Rival556, Plasma, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Grizzly Bear, Strange Module, Cop Fighter, Inter, Charles Surrit, Sir K, Ram Gilama, Zane, Whiskey, Christoph, MTD, Leggy Boy, Daniel, Fralem, Crony XS, Theovio, iMantrix, Arman Oziloco, Rolling Rock, Sidonai, and welcoming Danteli Franklin. A gigantic thank you for your support, and to them and everyone else, thanks for watching. And I guess for the end, oof, I really need to look at all the weird corridors. The only thing that really changed about Nuke all the time are the air vents and the tunnels underground. So, see you guys next time. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.